You love me like a locked room, careful, controlled, never loud. Your hands knew me in private, but your world never allowed. I learned how to lower my voice, how to shrink joy before it showed. I mistook discretion for safety, not knowing what it owed. I waited in the margins of your life, where explanations learn to bend. You said some truths were complicated, that time would make it end. I wore patience like a virtue, called restraint a form of grace. I didn't know love could disappear just by staying out of place. My love was your hidden secret, something you wouldn't name. You held me like a comfort, but hid me from your frame. I was real in every feeling, but invisible to your pride. I wasn't hard to love, I was just easy to hide. I memorized your excuses, learned which hours were safe. I understood when you hesitated, I never asked you to explain. I told myself love didn't need witnesses, that quiet didn't mean deny. But every time you chose silence, a part of me went outside. My love was your hidden secret, kept soft, kept out of view. You said it was about protection, but it was about fear in you. I stood behind your choices while you stood in front of none. You didn't lose me suddenly, you erased me one by one. There's a special kind of heartbreak in being loved behind a door, and knowing someone chooses you but not enough to choose you more. I question my own importance, lowered needs I shouldn't have. I thought being understanding meant accepting what you had. My love was your hidden secret, and that truth cut deep. Because love that can't be spoken isn't something you can keep. I gave you honesty and presence, I gave you all of me, and you gave me shadows where love should have been seen. One day I'll be loved in daylight, without caution, without disguise, by someone who says my name, lets it live outside. But she'll always be the reason, I learned what silence can do. I wasn't asking for the world, I was just asking to be true. I spoke your name like it could save me, like saying it enough might make you stay. I trusted the quiet moments between us more than the truth you wouldn't say. I gave you hope dressed up as patience, faith stitched into every breath. I didn't know devotion could sound so close to asking for less. I bent my knees into forgiveness, called waiting a form of grace. I learned how to love without answers, without reassurance, without place. You stood so sure in your distance, like doubt never lived in you. I was building belief out of fragments, trying to make something whole come true. I loved you like a broken prayer, spoken softly, never heard. I believed in what we could be, more than what I ignore the signs that hurt too quietly, the way you stop reaching back. I told myself love doesn't question when it starts slipping through the cracks. You carry certainty so lightly, like leaving wouldn't leave a mark. I was memorizing your shadows while you were learning how to depart. I loved you like a broken prayer, still hopeful, still sincere. I asked for nothing but honesty, and even that felt too severe. I kept believing silence meant death, that absence meant repair. But faith without return is just a heart left bare. There's a quiet kind of heartbreak in loving something you can't reach, and staying faithful to a feeling that never learned how to keep. I don't regret the way I loved you, I regret the way I waited alone. I thought love was meant to be tested, not constantly postponed. I loved you like a broken prayer, with belief worn thin by time. I gave you all my reverence while you gave me your decline. I stayed on my knees emotionally long after you'd moved on somewhere. You didn't lose my love by accident, you let it fall unanswered there. One day I'll love without pleading, without hoping through the pain, but you'll always be the reason I learned belief can ache. I don't curse the way I loved you, even now stripped bare, because it's true and it's mine. I loved you like a broken prayer. I memorized the sound of doors not closing, the pause before goodbye, pretended to be kind. You stood there like you'd already gone somewhere, and I stayed like love could change your mind. My hands were shaking, not from fear of losing, but from holding on too hard too long. You looked relieved and I felt foolish, still believing I was wrong. I saw the ending in your eyes that night, still I kissed you like a prayer. I kept hoping pain could turn into a miracle if I loved you harder there. I loved you while you left, while your heart packed up and moved on, while my name slipped out your mouth like it never belonged. I loved you in the silence, you didn't bother to defend. I loved you at the moment we stopped being us and became them. You were already gone, breathing air I couldn't get, and I stayed. I loved you while you left. Your words were gentle, that was the cruelest part, like breaking glass wrapped up in grace. You said you needed freedom, said you lost yourself, but I was standing right there in your place. I folded my needs into something smaller so they wouldn't scare you away. I learned how to disappear politely while you learned how to stay okay. Every promise you outgrew, I carried instead, like a weight I chose to bear. I kept mistaking abandonment for patience, calling suffering care. I loved you while you left, while you loosened every tie, while I searched your face for proof that you might try. I loved you through the truth you wouldn't fully say, through the I thought love meant enduring pain as long as you had hope. But now I see I wasn't weak, I was loyal past the point of mercy. I loved you while you left, while you turned into a ghost, while I held the last warm memory and you held none at all. I loved you when the truth was sharp and you chose to deflect, when staying hurt more than losing what we had left. You didn't fall out of love, you stepped out unregretted and I stayed. I loved you while you left, I love you while you left. One day I'll love someone who stays when it's hard, who doesn't treat goodbye like a skill they've mastered. But you'll always be the lesson I learned in tears and breath, the one I love, the one who left, while I loved you till the end. You didn't raise your voice or slam the door, you just stopped reaching for my hand. The distance grew polite and careful, like love was ending a chord and a plan. I searched your face for resistance, for proof that leaving hurt you too, but you stood calm in the moment I was falling into. I waited for you to argue for us, to say we were worth the strain. I thought love would at least struggle before it surrendered to the pain. I would have met you in the middle, I would have stayed up all night, but you chose a quiet exit. You left me without a fight, you left me without a fight, without a single bruise on your pride. I was ready to bleed for forever, you weren't ready to try. I stood there holding our history while you set yours down right. You didn't lose me slowly, you left me without a fight. I kept thinking I missed something, a chance I failed to see. I replayed every small mistake until it felt like the end was me. You called it timing, called it clarity, like love had run its course. But love doesn't walk away untouched when it still has a voice. You left me without a fight, like staying would have been a crime, like choosing us was too heavy for this season of your life. I would have carried the weight with you, I would have held you tight, but you chose peace over persistence. You left me without a fight. There's a hollow kind of heartbreak in being left by someone calm, no anger to burn through the grief, no chaos to prove it was wrong, just the sound of acceptance from someone I thought would stay. You didn't break me in anger, you broke me by walking away. You left me without a fight, and somehow that hurt the most, because if love didn't deserve effort, what was I holding close? I would have stood in the fire for you, I would have survived the night, but you didn't even raise your voice. You left me without a fight. One day I'll be chosen loudly by someone who refuses to run, someone who believes love is worth it, even when it's hard, even when it's done, but you'll always be the lesson. The silence can end a life. The one who walked away unscarred and left me without a fight. I mistook your attention for intention. Thought presence meant permanence somehow. You felt like certainty in the beginning, like something I could trust without doubt. I ignored the way you avoided death, the way your promises stayed thin. I thought love could grow direction where commitment never lived in you. I defended you when questions came, protected your name at my expense. I turned red flags into misunderstandings, called inconsistency intense. I reshaped my needs to keep the peace, learned how to swallow every ache. I didn't know self-betrayal could look so much like love I'd make. You were my biggest mistake, not because I loved you too much, but because I kept choosing you when you never chose us. I gave you trust without proof, I stayed when I should escape. You were my lesson in heartbreak, you were my biggest mistake. I waited for growth that never came, for accountability you avoided. You took comfort without responsibility, left my devotion unemployed. I confused familiarity with safety, thought history earned respect. I didn't realize longevity doesn't mean something's correct. You were my biggest mistake, because I knew better and stayed. I felt the doubt every night and loved you anyway. I kept hoping effort would change you, that patience would reshape fate. But love can't fix what refuses to see, and that's why you were my biggest mistake. There's grief in admitting you chose wrong, not just that love didn't last, in facing the truth that your own heart ignored what it already asked. I don't hate myself for loving deeply, but I mourn who I had to become. Smaller, quieter, constantly convincing myself you were the one. You were my biggest mistake, because I lost myself inside you. I traded instincts for hope and paid for what I knew was true. I loved you past self-respect, past clarity, past my own voice. You weren't a tragedy that found me. You were a choice, yeah. One day I'll trust without doubting myself, without rewriting pain to cope. But you'll always be the reason I learned love needs more than hope. I survived what you couldn't give, I outgrew the role you played. You didn't just break my heart, you were my biggest mistake. I gave you the quiet parts of me, The ones I guarded like open skin. I let you see where I've been and bruised, and you call that closeness letting you in. I believe the way you said my name, like it had weight, like it had truth. I didn't know trust could be shattered by someone I handed proof. You held my heart like it was steady, then treated it like it wouldn't fall. You made promises feel like shelter, then disappeared behind the wall. I kept defending you in my mind, rewriting pain to make it kind. I thought love meant staying gentle, even when I was the one left behind. You broke the love I trusted, not loud, not fast, but deep. You cracked it with your absence, with words you couldn't keep. I didn't see it coming, I thought we were safe, untouched, but you didn't just leave my heart. You broke the love I trusted. I learned how doubt sounds in the dark, how silence learns my fears by name. I traced every moment backward, trying to find where I became the blame. You looked at me like I was asking too much, when all I wanted was truth. I was loyal to the damage, because I was loyal. You broke the love I trusted, turned faith into regret. You taught my heart to hesitate where it never would have before you left. I gave you something sacred, something careful, something real. Now I flinch at every promise because of what you made me feel. I don't miss who you are now, I miss who I thought you were. I miss the future I protected while you were already unsure. There's a grief in losing belief, not just the person you lose. You didn't steal my love, you made me question how I choose. You broke the love I trusted, left cracks I didn't see. Now every time someone gets close, I measure what they might take from me. I loved you without armor, without exits, without disguise, and you taught my heart the danger of believing someone's eyes. One day I'll love without shaking, without bracing for the fall, but you'll always be the reason I learned love can break us all. I survived what you couldn't honor, I walked away adjusted, scarred. You didn't just break my heart, you broke the love I trusted. I try to teach my hands to let go, but they still reach for where you were. Every memory feels unfinished, like love paused mid-word. I told myself your leaving was final, that hope should learn to rest, but my heart never listened. It keeps arguing with my chest. I replay the softer versions of us, the ones that didn't hurt yet, where your voice sounded certain and nothing felt like regret. I know the truth stands in front of me, clear and painfully true. Still something in me whispers that endings don't apply to you. My heart still believes in you, even when my mind knows better. It holds on to your name like a promise, written in disappearing letters. I've tried replacing faith with reason, tried teaching love what not to do, but my heart doesn't follow logic. My heart still believes in you. doors or windows now. I don't ask the night for signs, but hope learned how to hide itself in the corners of my mind. My heart still believes in you, like belief is muscle memory. Like loving you rewired something too deep to be undone in me. I tell myself I move forward, I swear I've grown, I swear I've tried. But belief doesn't ask permission, it just survives. Maybe love isn't meant to vanish, maybe it only changes shape. Maybe some hearts keep the door unlocked even when they know the cost of faith. I don't excuse the pain you gave me, I don't pretend it didn't bruise. I just admit the quiet truth, some parts of me still choose you. My heart still believes in you, not in return, not in repair, just in the idea that what we had was once completely there. I don't expect a second ending, I don't need you to come through. This belief doesn't need an answer, it's just true. One day my heart may learn new language, speaking safer shades of love. But tonight it beats in your direction, soft and stubborn, never enough. I've let you go in every way I can, except the one I can't undo. Because even now, even here, my heart still believes in you. My heart still believes in you. You promised forever like it was simple, like it didn't scare you at all. You held my future in your pocket, then acted surprised when it fell. I learned how to plan my life around you, around a love you swore was sure. I didn't know certainty could vanish and still leave fingerprints on the door. I told people I was waiting patiently, like waiting was something strong. I defended your silence like commitment, even when it felt wrong. I pictured your name beside mine, wrote it quietly in my head. I was already married to the idea while you were halfway gone instead. You left me with an empty reed, a circle with no vow inside, a promise that never found its moment, just a space where love went to hide. You let me believe in a future you never intended to bring. You didn't just leave my heart, you left me with an empty ring. I practiced explaining your absence, turning concern into grace. I learned how to smile through questions while my chest collapsed in place. You said timing was the problem, like love needed better weather to grow. But commitment doesn't wait for comfort, and somehow I always knew. You left me with an empty ring, with plans that learned how to ache, with dresses that never touched my skin, and sacrifices you didn't make. I stood at the edge of believing while you kept one foot free. You let me hold on to nothing and call it destiny. There's a grief in almost and maybes, in futures that nearly existed, in loving someone who lets you dream, then claim flames they never promised. I don't miss the man you became. I miss who you were when you swore. When love sounded permanent and walking away wasn't an option anymore. You left me with an empty ring, with faith that doesn't fit the same. Now I hesitate at declarations, second guessing every name. I loved you with marriage in my bones, with patience carved in my skin. And you taught me how loud silence is, when forever never begins. Oh, one day I'll wear something meaningful, not symbolic, not deferred. Something chosen with intention, something earned, something sure. But you'll always be the chapter where belief learned how to stay. The one who walked away untouched and left me with an empty ring. I didn't ration my feelings with you. I was spending like I had endless time. Every part of me stood unguarded, believing love was always kind. I opened doors I kept locked for years, let you see the fragile seams. I never thought devotion could be the most dangerous thing. I trusted the way you held my face, like leaving was impossible to imagine. I thought the warmth in your voice meant you were willing to stay. I rearranged my future around your presence, made room where I once stood whole. I didn't notice how much of myself was slowly being let go. I loved you with my whole heart, without a backup plan inside. I loved you past my instincts, past the warning signs. I didn't love you carefully, I didn't love you halfway smart. I loved you like you were forever. I loved you with my whole heart. I defended you when doubt grew loud, turned concern into something small. I told myself love required patience, even when it cost me all. You grew distant in quiet ways, nothing sharp enough to fight. I kept believing closeness would return if I loved you right. I loved you with my whole heart, with no exit in my mind. I stayed soft when I should have hardened, stayed hopeful when I should have declined. You held my trust like it was dirty, then let it fall apart. I gave you more than I should have. I loved you with my whole heart. There's a special pain in realizing you were braver than I was, brave enough to walk away while I stayed because of love. I mistook endurance for devotion, called imbalance compromise. I thought loving deeply meant surviving no matter the price. I loved you with my whole heart. I loved you with my whole heart, even when it started to wake. I loved you through the confusion, through the space you wouldn't explain. I kept choosing you in silence while you were learning to depart. You didn't break me accidentally, you broke what loved you with my whole heart. One day I'll love with equal measure, not smaller, just more aware. But you'll always be the proof of how deeply I can care. I don't regret the way I loved, even now, torn apart. Because if nothing else, it's true, I loved you. I felt the shift before you said a word, like warmth leaving a room unnoticed. Your attention learned new directions, and mine learned how to go unfocused. You smiled in ways I didn't recognize. Your phone became something I couldn't reach. I started grieving while you were still here, practicing loss in the space between. You told me nothing had really changed, that I was reading too much in your tone. But love doesn't feel like standing beside someone who already feels alone. I watched your future rearrange itself around a name I didn't know. You were already choosing a different life while I was begging mine to stay slow. You left me for someone else, not all at once, but piece by piece. You gave her the parts of you that you told me were too tired to keep. I wasn't hard to love, I just loved you before you chose. You didn't fall out of love, you followed where your wanting goes. I blame myself for not being who, for loving you in familiar ways. I wondered if consistency was what pushed your heart away. I stayed soft while you grew restless, stayed loyal while you explored. I was holding on to commitment while you were searching for more. You left me for someone else, and I saw it in your eyes. The way you lit up telling stories that no longer included my sight. You said it wasn't about comparison, but I still felt replaced, because love doesn't need a substitute when it's meant to stay. There's a sharp kind of grief in being exchanged, not escaped, and knowing someone didn't lose love. They simply changed its shape. I questioned every part of me, measured what I could have been. But the truth is you didn't leave me, you left who you were with me. You left me for someone else, and that truth still echoes loud. Not because I missed the man you are, but because I trusted what we vowed. I loved you with a steady heart, with faith you couldn't match. You didn't break me by choosing her, you broke me by never looking back. One day I'll love without comparison, without wondering who I'll be replaced by someone who chooses me fully and doesn't need a reason why. But you'll always be the chapter that taught me how it feels to be loved sincerely and left for someone else.